Hello everyone, welcome to this session on analysis and design of algorithms. So in the previous session we have now discussed about the algorithm and what is algorithm and what is the notion of algorithm and uh, how to write the algorithm and some of the characteristics of algorithms. So in studying about the characteristics of algorithms, we have learned one of the major characteristic, that is in order to solve a problem we can have a multiple solutions, since we have a many designing techniques, right. So in this session, so let us take a simple example and explain so what are all the different methodology we are going to use to solve a simple problem. So here I am taking the example how to find out the GCD of two numbers, and in order to find out the GCD of two numbers we have four different methods to solve it. So let us discuss one by one. Okay. So problem is, the problem statement to find GCD of two numbers. So GCD of two numbers, as we know that to find out the GCD of two numbers, so that is the common greatest common divisor. So here of two numbers, in the sense, so here we can take two any inputs. Okay, so here m is one number and n is another number, and now we need to find out what is the common divisor factor here, that two greatest common divisor factor we need to find out. Here in order to find out the GCD of two numbers, we have multiple solutions. Like the first approach, in the high school itself we would have learned about how to find out the GCD of two numbers, right. So that is we can call that one as high school approach. And then Euclid's has find out the another approach called as an Euclid's modulo method or approach, and then we have a repetitive subtraction method, and then we have a consecutive integer checking method. See, in order to find out the GCD of any two numbers, we have these different approaches. Okay, so either we can go with a high school approach, or else we can go with the Euclid's modulo approach, and then we can use a repetitive subtraction method and also consecutive integer checking method. So what are all these methods and how to find out the GCD of two numbers, let us learn one by one. Okay. So let us take the example. So I will start with Euclid's modulo method, then I will go with the consecutive integer checking method, then I will go with the repetitive subtraction method, and then the high school approach I am going to cover. Okay. Sorry. So next here let me take the start talking about the Euclid's modulo method. Okay. So before going to write the algorithm, so let me discuss what is that Euclid's modulo method. Okay. So as we know that the problem statement is finding the GCD of two numbers, right. So here we will be having two numbers and we need to find out what is the common divisor, and that too the greatest one. So divisor in the sense, so here we need to perform some operation, that is nothing but the division operation we need to perform, right. So now in order to perform the division operation, here we need to find out the common divisor also. So here the Euclid has used the operator called as a modulo, that is finding the remainder is the operation here. Okay, so here what he is doing is he is dividing the number m and n, the two numbers m by n, and then he is going to store it in a remainder, and then that remainder will be assigned to n and the n will be assigned to m. So likewise he is going to repeat these steps until unless the remainder may become 0 or else the second number may becomes 0. Until unless that we are going to divide that particular number and keep on saving the reminders. So let us write the algorithm for finding the GCD of two numbers using Euclid's modulo method. As we discussed in the last class how to write the algorithm. So if you remember, the first step for writing the algorithm is we need to start with the keyword algorithm, right? Algorithm. Then we need to write the algorithm name, what it is computing. So based on that we need to give the algorithm name. So here we need to give the GCD we are finding, okay, and then we need to write the parameters. So here parameters are nothing but the inputs for this algorithm, what actually it is finding. So in order to find that particular problem, so what are all the ingredients that is necessary. So that is what we are going to write, the parameters. That is, here we have two numbers, you can give m and n, a, b, whatever you want you can write it. So that is m and n, any two variables which holds the integer values. Okay, so let us start. So here firstly, the purpose of this algorithm is to find the GCD of two numbers, for the given two numbers, right? So if you want you can write the description, the overall description by saying this algorithm computes the GCD of two numbers for the given m and n using Euclid's modulo method. So that is what you can write in the detailed description. Okay, so I am keeping that. So the next thing what we need to write is the inputs. So as we know that input for this algorithm is m and n. So what is m? M is any positive integer and n is any positive integer variable or value. Okay, so these are the two inputs. So what we are expecting, that is the output. Output is nothing but the GCD of two numbers. The next thing is where actually this GCD reside is, see, as we are dividing two numbers, that is first number is going to be divided by, for the first iteration, first number is going to be divided by the second number. So as you keep on dividing the number, first number with the second number, definitely the second number, until unless what? So until unless the second number becomes 0, right? So therefore in the second number we won't be have any number, so it will be 0. So that is not the GCD. So definitely the first number will holds the GCD. Therefore the first number whatever we are using, that is using this variable we are using as a first number. Therefore in the first number m itself we will be having the GCD. So m holds the GCD of two given numbers. Okay, so now so what I said, so we need to keep on repeating the steps. What step we need to repeat? So until unless the n becomes 0, we need to keep on do the division. So and that too, here we are not saving the quotient, instead of that we are saving the remainder. So we need to calculate the remainder. Of course, in order to calculate the remainder and all, we are using the temporary variable, okay, but that is not the input. If it is an input, definitely you need to write it in this space, okay? But the remainder what we are calculating, that is this operation, that's it, okay? That is not the input. So now let us start writing the algorithm. So now we need to perform what? We need to calculate the remainder. That is what the Euclid's modulo method tells. Modulo in the sense it is which gives you the remainder as an answer. So modulo operation gives you the remainder. So therefore we need to calculate the remainder. So find R. So that is R we are going to calculate. How we are going to calculate? By applying modulo between first number and the second number. So first number is going to be divided by second number and modulo operation will return you the remainder that will be stored in R. So once you store this value, so now we need to assign the value to the second number. So the remainder should be assigned to second number. Therefore, the second number should be assigned to which number? For the first number. Therefore, next assignment statement we need to write. So what is that assignment statement is? So here we are going to assign the n number to m, and so into the second number we are going to add what? The remainder. So remainder is going to be stored in second number and the second number is going to be stored in the first number. Okay, so this step will be repeated unless, so you can make use of English like statement itself, but here it's better to write a pseudocode. Okay, so while what? N becomes 0, so that nothing but n is not equal to 0 unless this, or you can have one more statement like R does not equal to 0. Okay, it's better to go with n is not equal to 0. We need to repeat these steps. Okay, so since once you enter into this while loop, then only we are going to calculate the value of R. So because of that reason, it is better to put the value n is not equal to 0. If you are writing R is not equal to 0, you need to have a assignment statement like n is equal to R in the beginning. Okay, sorry, R is equal to n. Okay, so otherwise it will give you the error, semantic error. Okay, so now, so these steps has to be repeated unless your n is not equal to 0. Okay, so once n becomes 0, now this comes out of the loop, that is we are going to end the statement end while, then the step 2, so this will be considered as an step 1, and in the step 2 we are going to return the value that holds the GCD of two numbers. So as you are dividing the first number by second number, unless your second number becomes 0, so definitely in the first number you will be having the GCD. So we are going to return that m. Okay, so let us take the example and let us trace this algorithm. Okay, so in order to trace the algorithm, let us first look at the procedure whatever we have written. So according to this procedure, we have the operation like R is equal to n mod n. That is what we need to look, and then we need to perform the assignment operation. So we should have a value for m and we should have a value for n, which is keep on changing based on this condition. So we need to check the condition, and then we need to check what is the first value, what is the second value, and then we need to proceed with the calculating the remainder value. So therefore, so here I am going to take 3 fields or 4 fields. So here the first field is m. Okay, usually in order to do the tracing, okay, so it's better to write, or it's better to trace the algorithm, since it is an iterative algorithm, we need to trace this algorithm by keeping the table or by putting the table values. Okay, so in the first column I am going to write m, and in the second column I am going to write n. Okay, and next, so you are finding m, you are finding n, and also you are finding what? The remainder. Okay, so remainder we need to calculate, but before going to calculate the remainder, we are checking some condition, right? What is n, what is n, right? So here let me check whether your n is not equal to 0 or not. If it is true, then only we are going to perform what? What is r? So what is r? R is nothing but m divided by n, and its remainder it is. Okay, so now let me take some example, like let me give the value for this. Okay, so m is equal to 10 and n is equal to 6. Okay, so now m is equal to 10 and n is equal to 6. That is nothing but I am calling the function GCD, whose value, m value is 10 and n value is 6. I am calling this function. So now once it executed, by that time it is going to invoke this one. Okay, this line. What is this line? While n is not equal to 0. What is the value of n? N is nothing but 6. Is 6 is equal to 0? No, that it is true. So if it is true, then we need to enter into the loop. What is that looping statement we have? So we need to calculate the r value. So what is that r is? So r is equal to m mod n. M is nothing but 10, n is nothing but 6. So 10 mod 6 is equal to how much? So that is, so second number will be divided by the first number, so that is nothing but, so the remainder will be 6. So that is 6, 10. Ones are 6, 4 is the remainder. So this is how we need to calculate the remainder value. So now we have calculated the remainder value. What is the next step? We need to assign the second number to the first number. So what is the second number we have? That is 6. So 6 has to be assigned to m. So now m will become 6 and n will become what? What is n? N has to be replaced with r value. What is the r value we have found? So that is r is nothing but 4. So now n got changed. Okay. Now again, since it is a looping statement, again it will come back to this statement. So what is that n? Now the n value is 4. 4 is not equal to 0. True. If it is true, then it has to execute the next statement. What is the next statement? R is equal to m mod n. What is m in this iteration? 6. 6 mod 4. So what is 6 mod 4 is 2. Okay. So now again n has to be checked. What is, so once you calculate the remainder value, assign the n value to m, that is m will become 4 and n value, so the r value should be assigned to n. Now n will become 2, right. So now again we are going to check the same condition. 2 is not equal to 0. True. So that is 2 not equal to 0. True. If it is true, we need to calculate the remainder. What is the remainder? M mod n. In this iteration, so first iteration, sorry, m is 4 and n is 2. So the remainder is, so 4 divided by 2, the remainder is 0. If the remainder is 0, so so it has not been completed yet. So now we have calculated the remainder. Now we need to assign the n value to m and r value to n. So let me write that. So m value is 2 and the r value is 0. Okay. Again the while condition is going to be checked again. So 0 not equal to 0. Is it true? False. So if it is false, it will come out of the looping statement. So if it is coming out of the looping statement, does it execute this statement? No, never. Okay. So now what is the next statement? In the step 2, we have a return m. That is the termination condition we have written. So here we are going to return the value to the called function. So that is nothing but we are returning what? We are returning m. So m value is nothing but your GCD. Okay. So in order to find out the GCD of two numbers using this Euclid's modulo method, these are the steps. But here we need to look into the steps. So what we have done, how many iteration you have done. So basically here we are performing what? in order to find out the GCD, that is common divisor, every time we are performing what? We are performing division operation. That is very important here. Okay. So of course it is also depends on the inputs. So whatever we have given, so based on that input only we are performing the operation. So this is our basic operation. Every time we are performing what? Division operation. Of course it is modulo operation. Modulo is nothing but again a division operation itself. But it is going to give you the result of what? The remainder. That's it. But here how many times your basic operation executed? Your operation executed for 3 times. Okay. So now, so 1, 2 and 3. At fourth step you got the GCD of 2 numbers. Okay. So this is how we are going to calculate the GCD of 2 numbers using Euclid's modulo method. That is nothing but using the division operation. By dividing the first number by second number, we are going to continue until unless the second number becomes 0. Okay. So in the first number we will get the GCD, that is the common greatest divisor. Okay. So in order to perform this, we took how many iterations? We took, so we have did the division for 3 times. So that means that it takes 3 times. So that is the operation has been executed for the given inputs. Basically remember here we whatever the inputs we have given, based on that also the number of steps varies. Okay. So how many times your basic operation executed? So usually in order to analyze the algorithm, we will concentrate on 2 things. One is the inputs and another one is the what is the operation we have performed. That is the basic operation here. How many times it has been performed. So those 2 are dependent on each other. So based on inputs you are going to perform your number of basic operations. Okay. So here the basic operation executed for how many times? 3 times. Remember why? Because I am going to give the same example using different methodologies. Of course, if you use high school approach, Euclid's modulo approach or repetitive subtraction approach or a consecutive integer checking method, you will get the same result. GCD will be same, but the thing is the technique is going to be varied. That's it. Okay. So here we have divided, every time we have divided the things. Okay. So let's see the next algorithm or a next technique we can say in order to find out the GCD of 2 numbers. That is nothing but the next one is the consecutive integer checking method. Okay. So the next method we are going to learn is consecutive integer checking method. Okay. So now the same thing, same problem, I am not going to change anything. We are finding the GCD of 2 numbers, that is why GCD of m and n. So you can have one more statement here, description. So of course the purpose is to find out the GCD of 2 numbers, but the description will change. So the algorithm computes GCD of 2 numbers using consecutive integer checking method. So let us see what is this consecutive integer checking method. So here in the consecutive integer checking method, so what we are doing here is, so as we know that the basic operation of finding the GCD of 2 numbers is division. So here division can be performed in turn using the subtraction method also. Okay. So here the basic idea of this consecutive integer method is, so we are reducing the number one by one and we are checking whether it is a GCD of 2 numbers. So how we are finding is, so we are going to divide both the numbers, that is first number and the second number, with some number. Okay, and if that number is common number, so if that number is the remainder is 0, then we can say that that is the GCD of those 2 numbers, the given numbers. That is, here we are taking one common number and that using that common numbers we are going to divide the first number and the second number. If the both operation comes with a 0 result, then we are concluding that common number whatever we have taken, that will be considered as a GCD of 2 numbers. So next thing is how to take that common number. That is, how to take that common number is by taking the small value or by finding the small of what? Of the minimum of first number and the second number. So by finding the smallest among the first number and the second number, that will be considered as a common number. And now next thing what we are going to do is, we are going to divide first number and the second number with this common number. So if the remainder comes 0 for in both the case, then we are concluding small as a GCD of two numbers. So what we are going to perform, the first number should be divided by this common number, that is small, and the second number has to be divided by again the small number. Okay, if its result is equivalent to 0, then we are concluding that the small is the greatest common divisor. Else what we need to do, in case if you won't get the remainder as 0 in any one of the case, okay, by that time we are going to reduce this number by 1 in each and every iteration. So now if you put this one as a if condition, then what is the action? If both the conditions are true, we are concluding small as the GCD. Okay, so we are going to return what? That small value as a GCD. Else we need to perform another operation, that is nothing but we need to find out the smallest one. So we need to reduce the small by 1. So in order to reduce the small by 1, reduction is nothing but what? Subtraction. So we need to reduce small by 1. That's it. Okay. So let us write the algorithm for this. So it is very easy. So only the thing is, what is the set of operation we are performing, that is what we need to concentrate on. Okay. So now step 1. So what we are finding in the step 1, we need to find out the smallest among the given two numbers. So now we need to find out the smallest or minimum, whatever the variable you want, or common number, whatever you want, you can take it. So here we are finding the smallest of two number, so that I am taking the variable small. So instead of equals, while writing the algorithm, preferably we will use the assignment operator like this. Okay, so we need to find out what? Min of. Instead of calculating, for this also we can have a one more algorithm. Okay, so instead of that, directly I am writing, that is understood, like what we are finding is. So that is the first number and the second number we are giving the input. So that is, it is going to check. So m is greater than n. So if it is true, we are going to return m, otherwise I am going to return n. Ternary operator you can use it, and then you can return the smallest value. Okay, so let it be. So now we are finding the minimum of that, and now we need to check what? So we need to divide it, right, by small, right? First number by small, and remember here it is not or, it is and. Both the conditions should be true. First number should be divided by the same number, second number also divided by the same number. If the remainder is 0, then you are going to conclude that that is the common divisor. Okay, so now for that we need to put and then second number should be divided by the same number. If this is equal to 0, then what you are concluding? Either you can take a break here, otherwise directly here only we can have a return statement. So that is return, what we need to return? So GCD of two numbers. Where actually the GCD of two number resides? That is nothing but in the common number, that is small. Else we need to return small. So if the small is not a GCD, that is not if you are not getting the 0 as a remainder, definitely we need to reduce the small by 1. So that is the operation we need to perform is small is equal to small minus 1. Okay, so end if. Okay, so now and this procedure should be repeated. Why? Because if in the first case itself, if you get the common one, then it is okay, but if you are not getting, then you need to must reduce the small by 1, right? So for that we need to put while true condition. While true, we need to execute these steps. So for that, usually we will write in a C syntax like while of 1. So where 1 holds the boolean value of true, right? So while 1, we need to repeat this step. So this is like in the written one, so directly it will go back to the called function. Okay. So let us take the same example and continue the tracing. Okay, so now I have m, n and one more variable we have taken, that is the common number small, and you know how to find out the small also, and here we are performing two operations, right? So one is dividing the first number by small, the second number by small. So that is m mod small is equal to 0, n mod small is equal to 0, we need to check. If so, we need to return GCD, otherwise we need to reduce the small by 1. Okay, let's start. So 10 and 6. Okay, so now 10 and 6, GCD of 10 and 6 we need to find out. Now it will comes to here, small is equal to min of 10 and 6. So what is the minimum of 10 and 6? 6. So 6 is the minimum value. So once you find out this, so while true, we need to execute this condition. So that is m mod small. So what is m? 10. 10 mod the second number, not the second number, common number. 10 mod 6 is 4, which is not equal to 0. If any one of the statement get false, definitely it will be the entire if statement will be false only. So I am not going to check for the second one. So for the sake of tracing, so let me write that one also. N mod small, that is 6 mod 6 is equal to 0. Of course, the second one is correct, true. Okay, this condition is true, but the first condition is what? False. See, but here I have put the AND condition here. If here both the conditions are true, then only we need to execute the next statement. Otherwise, we need to execute the else part. Okay. So now both here one is false, another one is true. So now it is false only. Therefore, we need to perform else part. What is the operation in the else part? We have small is equal to small minus 1. So reduce the small by 1. So if you reduce the small by 1, what is the small value now? Small value become 5. So now the same number m and n will be the same one. So 10 and 6. So again we need to check the condition. 10 mod with a small value means 5. It value is 0. This is true, correct. But what about the second statement, that is 6 mod 5, is it true? Is it 0? No, it is 1. So which is not equal to 0. This is false. If it is false, again we need to reduce the small size by 1. That is 4. So 10 first number, second number is 6. Therefore, so 10 mod 4 is equal to 0? No, this is not 0, non-zero, which is not equal to 0. 6 mod 4 is not equal to 0. Both the conditions are false. So definitely it is false only. Okay. So now again we need to reduce the size of the small by 1. That is nothing but 3. Sorry, 3. So now next m is 10 and n is 6. So first number 10 mod 3, which is not equal to 0. So therefore it is false. So next one is 6 mod small, that is 3. That is also not equal to 0. Remainder is non-zero. So therefore this is also false. If it is false, again else part. So in the else part we need to reduce the small by 1. That is nothing but 2. 10 and 6 and the small value. So 10 be divided by the small value and the second number divided by small value, which yields you the non-zero values, which is false. If it is false, we need to execute what? We need to execute small by reduce the small by 1. So that is what we have done, that is 2. So now here we need to do what? So again the first number is 10 and the second number is 6. So it is not going to be changed. Okay. So this will be written as it is. So only the variable is what? The small. Okay. This is varying 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, like this it is varying. So let us see, let us apply the operation. So 10 mod 2. So 10 mod 2, what is the result? So 0, the remainder is 0. So first statement is true, right? So now the second statement, 6 mod 2, is it true? Yes. So 6 mod 2, remainder is 0. So therefore true and true. So both are true, then we need to execute this statement. What is this? Return small. That is nothing but in the small variable we will be having the GCD of 2 numbers. So here GCD of, in the small we will be having the GCD of 2 numbers. This is how we can calculate the GCD of 2 numbers. But observe here we have, what is our basic operation here? We need to do the division, right? So how many times you have done the divisions? See, so along with division we are reducing the size of the small by 1. That is also we are doing, right? So 2 operation we are performing every time. Okay. So here let us count the number of iterations here. That's it. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So 5 times we have done the basic operations. Okay. But in the Euclid's modulo method, how many steps or how many iterations we did? Only in 3 iterations we got the result. But here, see, look at here. So we are dividing first number, second number, 2 times we are performing division operation, and also we are performing what? Subtraction operation also, right? So many subtraction, so many divisions we are doing, right? So in a consecutive integer method. So which one will be the better one, whether it is a Euclid method or consecutive integer method? So definitely we can say consecutive integer method is not good, or it is not good compared to what? Euclid's modulo method, or in turn you can say that modulo method is better than consecutive integer checking method. So based on the same number only we are getting. Okay, you can have multiple inputs and you can try it out. So which one will be the better one? Okay, so the next method we are going to learn is repetitive subtraction method. So as I said that, so division can be done using subtraction also. Okay, division is nothing but what? Reducing the factors, right? So reduction can be done using the subtraction. So here basically we are going to subtract the first number by the second number if the first number is greater than the second number. So based on that concept we are going to reduce the first number with the second number or second number with the first number. Okay, let us see how exactly it works. Okay. So in order to perform this operation, so we need to subtract first number with the second number, and we need to store it in a first number itself. Okay, if the first number is greater than the second number, we need to perform this operation. Else what we need to perform is we need to subtract the second number by the first number if the second number is larger than the first number. Okay, and the resultant value should be stored in the second number. Okay, so this process will be continued unless your m and n are equal. So that is unless your m and n are not equal, we need to repeat the subtraction. So once you do the subtraction, so unless your m and n are not equal, so you need to keep on doing this operation. So once this condition is true, what is the condition we are checking? So m should not be equal to n. If m and n are equal, then we are not going to do this operation. So now if m and n are equal, that means what? GCD will be resides in either in m or in n. Okay, so both will be equal unless that we need to perform these operation. So what is that? So if the first number is greater than the second number, we need to perform this operation. If the second number is greater than the first number, then we need to perform this operation. Therefore, we need to have one more if condition. We need to check the condition. So, for that we need to put if m is greater than n, then we need to perform the following operations. So, this operation will be repeated until unless your m and n are becomes equal. Okay, once m and n are equal, we need to stop this procedure. So, therefore, where will be the GCD? Either in m or in n. Okay, so you can return any of the value. Either you can return m or you can return n. Why? Because both are having the same numbers. So, that is m. Okay, so algorithm, the first step. So, while what m and n are equal, so that is m and n are not equal, then what we need to perform? We need to check the condition. What is that condition is? So, if the first number is greater than the second number, then what is the operation we need to perform? We need to subtract the first number by the second number, and the result should be stored in the first number itself, m. Else, if the second number is greater than m, then we need to find out, or we need to subtract second number by first number, and the result will be stored in the second number. Okay, so this process will continue till m is not equal to n. So, once it completed, end while, and then we need to return either m or n. Why? Because until unless both are equal, we need to repeat the same step, right? So, we need to return m or n. So, let us take the example m, n. So, here performing either m minus n or n is equal to n minus m, we are performing, right. So, instead of writing in this column, I would like to write here only m minus n and n is equal to n minus m. This is how we need to calculate. But what is the condition we are checking? So, while m is not equal to n, we need to check, and also we need to check what? M greater than n. So, we need to find out m if m is greater than n, and we need to find out n if n is greater than m. Remember, okay. So, let me take the same example. So, that is 10 and 6. Okay, 10 and 6, is it equal? So, 10 is not equal to 6. True. If it is true, so now 10 we need to check m is greater than n. So, once you check the condition m is not equal to n, what is the next one? M is greater than n. True. So, 10 is greater than 6. True. Therefore, what we need to find out? We need to find out m. So, 10 minus 6 is how much? 4. Okay. So, what about n? N will be as it is 6. Now, again in the while loop it will come back to this loop. So, that is 4 not equal to 6. True. If it is true, again we need to check this condition m greater than n. So, that is 4 greater than 6, false. If it is false, it will comes to the else part. So, in the else part in the sense we need to find out what? N. N is equal to m minus n. So, therefore, 6 minus 4, its value is what? 2. So, what is m? 4 and n is 2. Now, let me check the condition. Again it will goes back to while loop. So, that is 4 not equal to 2. Again it is true. If it is true, again we need to check the condition m greater than n. What is n? M is 4. 4 greater than 2. Is it true? Yes, true. If it is true, calculate this value, that is m minus 2. So, that is 4 minus 2 is equal to 2. And what about n? N will be as it is 2. Now, again it will come back to this. So, that is nothing but 2 not equal to 2. Is it true? False. Why? Because m is equal to n. So this is false. If it is false, it will come out of the loop. See, in m also we have 2, in n also we have 2. So that is the meaning I have told. So that is, I can either return m or n. Okay. So now the written m value, that is the GCD of two numbers. So here m or n, we can have a GCD of two numbers. So here also, how many times the subtraction operation have been performed? 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on the input whatever we have taken. So here also it is performing only 3 to 4 operations. Okay. So this is how we need to we can calculate the GCD of two numbers using this repetitive subtraction method. Okay. So if you compare this one, definitely, so it is sometimes based on the inputs, so this may vary. So these two, okay, almost same iterations we can say. Okay. So but some iteration definitely we can say this is the worst than this integer checking method. But according to the inputs whatever I have taken, of course it is working same level, in the same level. Okay. So if you rate, definitely Euclid's modulo is the first one. Next, if you consider, definitely again we are using the modulo method itself. That's why we can give the second rating for this consecutive integer checking method, and then we can go for repetitive subtraction method. Okay. The last one is, as you know, that is high school approach. So high school approach is very easiest one. So what is the high school? Step 1, find the prime factor of first number, that is m. Step 2, find the prime factor of second number, and then step 3, take the common factor from step 1 and step 2. Okay. And then in the step 4, take the product of common factor. So this result is your the product of those common factor will give you the GCD of two numbers. Examples, take the example. So let me take the first value as 10 and the second value as 6. But remember, in order to find out the GCD of two numbers, we need to go for what? We need to find out the prime factors of first number and the prime factors of second number. In turn, it is going to call another function to find out the prime factors of the given number itself. Okay. So that is the drawback of this algorithm. Okay. So let us take the prime factor of first number. So divide it by 2. Why? Because the least prime number is 2. We need to start with 2. So 2 5s are 1, 5 1s are 0. Okay. So therefore the prime factors of this first number is 2 into 5 into 1. So this is first step. So second step is, so 6, prime factor of 6 is 3 0 3 1. So therefore the prime factor of second number is 2 into 3 into 1. Therefore, what is the third step? We need to third step is we need to take the common factor of these prime factors. So common number is 2 into 1 and 2 into 1. So 2 into 1 and 2 into 1 into 1. Okay. So the common factor is what? 2 into 1. 2 into 1 is nothing but what? 2 into 1 is 2. So the GCD of these two numbers is 2 into 1. Okay, so this is how we can calculate the GCD of two numbers of any two numbers. If you analyze, definitely this is worse than these three algorithms. Okay, so now if you rate it based on the analysis or the number of iterations whatever we have performed, so here first place Euclid's modulo method, second you can go with the consecutive integer checking method, and then we can go with the repetitive subtraction method, and then we can rate at the last, that is high school approach method, that is by finding the prime factor method. This is how we can analyze the algorithm based on the inputs whatever we have and the number of times the basic operation executed. So based on that we have concluded that here, so that is which method is better. So according to the characteristics of algorithm, so for any problem, if you consider any one problem, so for a single problem we can have multiple solutions. In a multiple solution we need to get a better one. So how you are going to get the better one? Based on this analysis. So that is how you are going to do the analysis. So the number of iterations whatever we have performed, based on that we are concluding which algorithm is better. So but here we can't say that only based on this inputs we are performing like this, okay, but for that we need to take various set of inputs and you need to work on it and you need to define so which one will be the better algorithm to get the solution for the given problem. Thank you.